and balance that CROSEC is in order, and then they are also ready. And in as much as the same IPAC is ready, I think every political party is ready. And my office also is ready to ensure that there's this balance. That is why I'm currently on a political party tour to see how I can interface with these political parties and then see where we can create a balance and then also move forward. Yes.
Okay, now let's look, because the issue of political parties, let's talk of the internal party mechanism.
Okay.
At the point everyone is getting ready for the primaries, that will come when CROSEC must have given out their guidelines. Now, there's been one particular challenge which is imposition of candidates.
Okay.
Now, do we think that the process, internal party organism or mechanism, would allow it wrong, that who is supposed to be there would be picked by local government, caucus, or however look at it? The core issue is, how do we deal with the issue of imposition?
Imposition has always been there by reason of interest. Most times by reason of origin of loyalty and all of that. But like I said, just to reiterate, this administration is keen on ensuring that it is a square peg on a square hole. And I'm sure that the party, through the directive of the leader of the party and of the South-South region, His Excellency Senator Prince Bassey Odutola, will do the needful. And then the most credible candidate, the most credible candidates will come on board, will be the stand bearer of the party at different local governments and wards.
Okay. Now, we've seen a lot of people, popping up with pictures and that they're running for a particular post or the other. Now that we have CROSEC getting set, what should be expected from candidates and what should also be expected from voters?
Well, for the candidates, it's just about your inputs, your antecedents of performance, who you are as a person. Because whatever you're taking into leadership is what you have. You can't give what you don't have. So we also have a number of aspirants, people declaring their interest, consulting here and there, the whole traffic, all across the 18 local government of the state, at the chairmanship level and also at the councillorship level. But when the chiefs are down, the party will look at these figures, even if they are 100, they will now marry them, by their competence and all of that, in line with what the party is looking at, and then the most credible person will emerge. Yes, it has always been the norm.
Okay.
You can't stop them, and some at the end of the day, you're not fit here, just go here and all of that. Then the scale will be balanced.
So what kind of a chairman, what kind of a councillor do you think Cross Riverians would desire to have?
Looking at the body language of this administration, let's use the People's First Agenda.
Yeah.
You see that we are not looking back. We are looking up there to try as much as we can to meet up, because we were somehow dragging feet. So the governor is doing all his best, working out of the clock to make sure he brings in the needed development and then put Cross River where it's supposed to be, restore the glory and all of that. So also at this level, we would not be going for somebody who doesn't have what it takes. We wouldn't be going for somebody who only believes because there's an autonomy, so I should just come in and all of that. We won't be carrying somebody who feels he has a godfather somewhere and all of that. No. We'll be carrying somebody whose mindset is in sync with People's First. Somebody who has that face of humanity, somebody who is ready to serve, because a call for you to lead is a call for you to serve. So that person that is ready to serve, that person that is ready to align with the visions, the vision and set goals of His Excellency is what we are looking at. So as to fast track, because if the local government election is conducted, most of the load, I think, will reduce at the state level and then draw down into the local government, the third tier level, and then the development will thrive, and then the common man at the grassroots will get it right. But this can also be achieved, or can only be achieved, when we have the right chairmanship candidate when we have the right councillor in place. So I'm sure that we'll surely get the best out of the numbers.
You know, while you were reacting, good enough, you brought up that autonomy. Now, a lot of people are speculating that most of these guys who are coming in to run is because of the financial autonomy that the Supreme Court granted. Now, take it or leave it. Before we had this joint account between the state and local government, but because of the height of corruption, financial embezzlement, we still remember how 1999 was, when the entire money went directly to the local government coffers. Before, some local governments couldn't pay salaries and all of that. Now, what mechanism should be put in place? Because as SSA Political, you like to ensure that whoever is chairman, lives in sync with His Excellency's agenda.
Yeah.
How do we handle the issue of corruption to ensure there's a huge sum of money that will be coming into the local government coffers are actually used for social welfare interventions and all of that? And how do we curb embezzlement?
Okay, now you may likely not draw off investment to zero limit, but you can surely curb. You just made mention of 1999. You could recall with me that 1999, even with that level of autonomy that they had, some persons, like you said, finished up and left arrears, salaries were not paid and all of that. There were a lot of challenges, even with that much money, and very few were able to deliver. So these few that delivered were people who were deliberate, people who were intentional, people who were able to set their priorities right and all of that. So we're looking at what happened at that level, and even the outgone chairman who left in the last administration. I think this administration will marry all those differences and see how we can make amends. Now, when you talk about corruption, putting out corruption and all of that, you must first begin with a credible candidate. Not just being credible. Somebody can be credible but is not ready to serve. But a credible candidate that is ready to serve, a candidate that is passionate about the people, a candidate that has the fear of God, a candidate who knows that the office he or she is going to man is to ensure that he raises the banner of God high by being selfless, by trying to do the needful in order for the state to get to that pedestal that is expected. So when you begin with this kind of figures, then you're already controlling corruption. You're already taking out embezzlement out of the picture here. Because when you talk about embezzlement, corruption, you're bringing in people who are already on the bandwagon lane, people who believe in the old leadership. Old leadership is when you come in, I say, oh, this is how we used to do. We used to take this, we used to do this, and then you just join the gang and continue. No, this administration is not looking at that. This administration is more responsible and resolute on delivering on the mandate. So we will not smile or play over anybody that is just coming to drag us back. Yes.
Okay, real quick before we take a very short break. In 2018, the former president, Mr. Buhari, President Buhari then, had signed a not too young to run bill into law. What's the place of the young people in this upcoming elections, local government elections in Cross River State?
Currently, the young people are already in the space. If you check the appointment of His Excellency, and even before now, you see that the young people have been given excess leverage, in leadership politics. And even in the coming local government election, you would see it with me that the emergence will be more of younger leaders. So His Excellency has an open arm for the young people. You can see the Special Advisor General Duty. You can see the commissioners. You can even see myself, the SSA Political Affairs, and so many other people, the SA Interparty and all of them. There are a whole lot of young persons there. So it's an opportunity for the young people to deploy whatever potentials God has given them in the place of leadership. So, and I'm sure that every young Cross Riverian who has this rare privilege to serve will serve very well. Very
great. Okay, so we just have to hang it there. We'll take a very short break, and when we are back, we'll come to wrap up our thought with Dunamis Achibong. Stay with us. Weekend Politics returns shortly. Don't go away. It's still the weekend politics, and before we went on that break, we have I was about to call him a doctor. I'm very sure he will get that. Mr. Dunham is the chief of the SSA to the chief of staff on political. Okay, so let's quickly wrap up our thoughts in about 2 minutes. Now, one of the points you raised was that you have your office is having an interface with political parties that's across board. Now, one thing that would always drive the real guys that have the intent to run, the real sincere guys, if I should use that word, is the high cost of forms, intent forms, and all of that. Would your office, push an agenda to all the political parties, see how they can bring down the cost of their intent form and all of that, and also talk a little bit about campaign funding? It's always very huge.
Okay, thank you very much. If you check 2-3 days ago, I came across a publication by Interparty Advisory Council that they had interfaced with the assembly members, the House of Assembly, through the leadership of Mr. Speaker, and then they are comfortable with the CROSEC law review and all of that. I think at that point, their major concern was on this, and then for them to come to the public to embrace that, I think everything is in order. And I can assure you, His Excellency is not one man that would want to twist the system or any other person, because he is not just the governor of APC, he's the governor of all political parties. He's the governor of Cross River State, and before any political party, one is first a Cross Riverian. So I believe that the cost of funds, the forms, and every other financial involvement will be at the affordable level that will give every political party a level playing ground. Of course, that's what we are looking out for, and I believe that satisfaction is already on ground. So things are in order. Okay,
so finally, let's get your thought as we wrap up this segment. Your thought on the local government elections. Let's get you address Cross Riverians watching us right now.
Okay, what I will tell us is it's not going to be business as usual. Like I would always use that word, people's first agenda. We are very ready to ensure that we put things right. And like I said earlier on, if the local government election is conducted, you're sure going to take half of the load from the governor, the state at the state level. Some of this responsibility will go down to the third-tier level, and then development will thrive at that point, and then people will also have these leverages, and the economy will go well. So I want to seek for the support of every well-meaning Cross Riverian to support His Excellency in actualizing this. You can see that our governor is not like other governors who would want to go contrary to development. He's already putting things on ground to ensure that he aligns with the way forward. And then he's already running along to ensure that the local government election is conducted. This shows his readiness to serve the people. So I would put it to the Cross Riverians to give him the necessary support, and to the political parties, they should also give the necessary support that will enable CROSEC, conduct this election. Already, the umbrella body has already mandated CROSEC to be fast about it. That means they are ready and they are okay with whatever that is on ground. And my office will do whatever it is to assist His Excellency and my boss, the Chief of Staff to the Governor, Honorable Emmanuel Ayomba, in ensuring that the right thing is done. Please permit me, let me also use this opportunity to appreciate the political parties for working in line with the system of today. This wouldn't have been possible if not for my appointment by His Excellency in the office of the Chief of Staff, who is my direct boss. My interface with them over time, I'm not yet done across board. I can see that they are in line with their first people agenda, people's first agenda. They are also ready to give in whatever support they have to ensure that the election is conducted. And through the help of God, it will be free, fair, and credible. It will be peaceful. It will be the first in the history of Cross River State, I can assure you.
Well, great. Thank you so very much, Mr. Dunamis Chibong, the SSA Political Office of the Chief of Staff. Thank you so very much for your time on the show. And as once we get the guidelines out, we'd like to have you back here for us to talk, push the talk further. Thank you very much. We'll take a very short break, and we'll be having the next guest seated with me. He's been a very regular face on Weekend Politics. You'll love to have him, talk to us this evening. Stay, don't go anywhere.